Hi there. So here's another quick demonstration trying to get the paper effect onto the flipbook. I've chosen to go with the flipbook method because it's slightly more efficient, but I think it's a bit more flexible compared to the other two methods. Considering for the other two methods I'll show you, there's this little thing here we have to set up a sequencer and then also do some stuff in the level blueprint. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. No, but there's some things that we have to do in the... Let's see if it comes up. Nah. So there's some things we have to do in the blueprint as well just to get these working, and then we have to kind of figure out how to control these sequences in the actual level sequencer. Tell you when to come in, when to start, and all this sort of thing. I think the flipbook is a much more straightforward way of doing that. So I've chosen to go with this method and then just experiment with how the texturing works for flipbooks. It's slightly different, but it's not, we can still achieve everything that we can with regular texturing methods. So here you can see the silhouette is quite dark, but that's mainly because of the lighting at the moment. I can put a light on that and really brighten it up. So if I just brought in a point light real quick, I can really brighten that up. But there's a lot of other things we can do as well to brighten this up in the material thing itself, but I'm not too concerned with that currently. So as you can see here, we've got the sort of paperness effect. It kind of looks solid. You've got the backlight showing through very slightly there, due to the subsurface scattering effect. I can always change that if it's not a really desired effect. And then if I just open the material itself, you probably won't be able to see the window because I've got it recording only this window and it's not showing the windows inside it for some reason. But if I just go into the silhouette setting and set that to 1, then we have just a fully silhouetted paper texture styled animation. Now I can also change things like the transmission effect itself. So if I was to go and do that, I can put this to 1 and make it much clearer. You can see the transmission, the light is showing through a lot more. And if I go to the subsurface scattering, I can change the thinness of the paper to make it, bear in mind this is supposed to be a black silhouette, but the light is really illuminating that material quite a lot. So I can set it to very thick paper. There's no light whatsoever shining through this, but as a consequence you can't see the normal mapping effects either, or the sort of paperness. So if I just set it slightly here, in fact let me just turn the other setting off and see what we can get. So if I've got to set it to about there as a minimum to be able to see the paper. Otherwise, I could set it to be much more see-through. If I set that there, just save this. I think it's looking quite good. I think that's quite acceptable. One of the problems is, obviously, because this is a sprite animation, I can't get the texture to sort of follow the animation. It's just going to be there because the animation is dictated by the mask itself, and it's the mask moving. Maybe there's a way that I can do that so these grains of paper actually move with the each frame, but I just don't think that's a thing because it's not calculating that way. It's like each frame is a different sort of texture flipping through constantly, but this material doesn't know that the pixels are moving left or right, so it's got nothing to really connect to be able to follow left and right. But it's something I could look into a little bit more, see if I can achieve something more with that. And of course the shadows are working just fine. You know, very realistic actually. You notice the feet, they don't start from the floor because these aren't on the floor. Which brings me to my next point as well. When we're filming anyone to be silhouetted, we're going to have to start, we're going to have to place the camera at kind of like the foot level. And maybe just have a kind of like an ultra wide lens or something like that to be able to capture the whole figure. Possibly, if we need to get the feet flush with the floor. You know, otherwise, say if I just move this down, and I've got, oh, I don't know what happened there. If I just move this down and put her feet, you know, there, the shadow is still off because she's not actually touching that. And as you can see, you know, the further down we go, that the actual flipbook is going to go, you know, through the floor itself, and just to be able to get the next part. So there's something that we might have to figure out there just to make it look like these characters are actually stood on the paper from a character point of view. So if we're stood here talking to them, if we look down, you know, we don't want these shadows floating at such a long distance. We would rather the flipbook be connected to the floor so the shadows start where the feet touch. Yeah, so that's just something else to work on. But for now, the silhouetting, the flipbook, and the sort of paperness material is working just fine. Yeah, so I think I'll leave that there, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care.